Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking the first of 3 looks through a recent vintage paperback collection that I got recently. Now the whole collection was 14 boxes in total. 8 of those boxes were full of vintage pans and the other 6 were other miscellaneous publishers that this person had collected over the years. Now we'll predominantly look at those first 6 boxes of other publishers in this video, and then I've got 2 more videos where I'll do 4 more boxes each of the pan book collection. So anyway, we'll look at the first 6 boxes today and we'll find what we will find. There's going to be a few surprises in there, that's absolutely certain. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So I suppose I should just record where they all are right at the moment. So I've got the 14 boxes just shoved over there in the corner, and just above it you'll see that little run of Collins' White Circle crime books. So I have actually already started going through those, just because I had they were quite dirty and they needed a bit of going through. But anyway, these are the boxes that we're going to start going through box by box right now. Okay, so I suppose this is the first one we should look at. Now, this box here, as you can see, has already been started on because this has got the Collins White Circle books. Now, the reason these are already packed away and sorted, and then I've got another run up on the shelf, is because these were in particularly dusty condition. These are amongst the oldest books that came in this collection, and because of that, they are in slightly worse for wear shape. So I'll just show you back to these. So these were the very, very first books in the series. That was literally number 1 in the run. So these have all been cleaned and tidied. Some of them needed their spines repaired, and a lot of them had a lot of dust and dirt on the top. So this entire box, in actual fact, is made up of Collins' White Circle crime titles, and absolutely fantastic they are as well. But these ones that I've got here in this box are ones that have all been, these have already been cleaned up, so they don't actually need going through any further. Yeah, in the sake of completeness, I think now would be a good time to get over the rest of the collection to have a look at. So let me just go and grab those. So this is the rest of the White Circle books. So there was approximately 100 in total in this series. There were, as you can see, almost all of them are crime titles, in actual fact, because you can tell that by the sort of the green spines on these. There were a few highlights, which are over here. So this one was Agatha Christie. It was a services edition, which was particularly nice. There was another services copy here by this guy, E.C.R. Lorak. And there was also one other one which is particularly scarce. So as well as them being published in the UK and Canada of all places, they did also release some in India, and this is actually an Indian copy, and you can tell that because inside it's got the price in Ceylon as 1 rupee. So the Indian copies are particularly rare and sought after. So absolutely fantastic. So when I initially went through the books, all the Collins were all together anyway, so I thought perfect opportunity to make a little bit of a start before I had the chance to do some proper filming. So that's pretty much the only bit of the collection that I've had any sort of chance to work on, but they're certainly fantastic, and you don't often see Collins crime books very often. I've only got a handful in my collection as it is, so to find this many in one hit with all those lovely, I think it was about 18 Agatha Christie's in there, which was fantastic, was a real special find. So really pleased to get those. Okay, so the next box, and I think what's probably best to do is just literally take all the books out, and then we can sort of sort them into various series. Now this box was a real mixture of stuff. But if we unload them all first of all, then we can have a little look and start putting some of the stuff into series. Although I think there's going to be a few miscellaneous piles by the look of it. Certainly some good stuff in here. Let's pop that box to one side. So, Hutchinson's, so that they're going to be worth having their own pile. Kama Sutra. So I think these are some more modern books. Now there's a run of these. These are called fact magazines. Not exactly sure when these date from. 1930s, 1938. That. So there's a few of these. So it would make sense to put them all together. Billiards. There's a few books on like games and things like that. So I suppose we ought to put them all together. That's the fact magazines. So all I'm going to do is create piles for the different publishers and series on this table, and then I'll go through later on and try and sort out a little bit more what's what. So that's a Guild book, so they will be worth having their own. In fact, that's a services edition as well. So I'll put a separate pile for Guild, but stuff which is bits and bobs, that's a Foursquare, so that's worth putting to one side, because I know there's lots of Foursquare in here. There is some Perry Rhodan, and there is some Billy Bunter books. This is another British paperback imprint, Searchlight Books, so that's probably worth a pile as well. There's more Perry Rhodan. Chevron books. This is another one which was like a Penguin sort of competitor, Chevron. So they can get their own pile as well. There's another Hutchinson. So as you can see, with a bit of, it's an early hardback that for Dorothy Sayers, a crime one. There's a digit, an odd digit, which I do collect. Lady and the Tramp. So as I said, in this box in particular, there were quite a few books which don't really class as any particular series. They just are just like miscellaneous books in the collection, I believe. So here's some more Perry Rhodan. That's quite nice. This is the paperback edition of Bob Dylan's Tarantula. Quite an expensive book in hardback. Yeah, first paperback 1973 from Panther. That's very nice. And a lot of these, interesting movie time. A lot of these are quite. He had a good taste, this guy. Muthen English Classic. It's a Muthen. Yeah, services. So it's a services edition of sorts. That's an Arrow book. Panther Horse. This is some of this is quite recent. James Hadley Chase. Oh, there's another odd digit. Another Perry Rhodan. All the Conspirators. So these are like, in effect, just like miscellaneous titles, aren't they? There's some Perry Rhodans. Ben Casey is a film tie-in Lancer book. This is another Hutchinson one. That's quite nice. Got some of them over there. Perry Rhodan is an Arrow. Biggles. So some children's books in here as well. Nice Western there. Death Rider. Oh, this is good. This was a BBC nuclear drama, war game, and it's almost like a very early photo novel. Look at that. That's quite rare. I haven't got one of those, so I've got a loose page, but quite rare that actually, so pleased to get that. Another movie tie-in. It's a Foursquare, but it's one I've got. It's a tie-in. Sex on Celluloid. McFadden. Another Foursquare there. Book on Adam Faith, so we'll put that in the Foursquare pile. Console. Another Foursquare. Some more kids' books here. Another pair of Rhodan. It's a real mixture, isn't it, this particular box? But that's sort of what I saw in this one, was that it was loads and loads of weird and various sort of publishers. Comic Tales. This is a Cherry Tree paperback. Another Perry Rhodan. Biggles is another Cherry Tree, but I don't think there's many of those. Oh, look, it's a Collins White Circle, but it's an American one. In fact, I'm guessing this must be one of the Canadian ones. So I ought to put this with my White Circle. Yeah, Canadian edition. There we are. So that ought to go with the White Circle books over here. It's the only one of those I've got. Just for fun. Mayflower Dell, that's like a pop stars thing, isn't it? Little Caesar, that's a classic, isn't it? So, once again, some nice miscellaneous books. Here's some more Perry Rhodans. So there must have been about 20 of those. They've got their own pile. From Uncle William. Adventures of Sammy the Shunter. A bit like Thomas the Tank. So, that's that box there. So I think we've made a start here. We've got a few piles already forming up quite nicely. Take my microphone out of the way. So just to recap, then at the back there we've got the Collins White Circles. Then we've got some Hutchinson, some Guild. The two big piles here. This is just going to be miscellaneous titles. Then we got the Perry Rhodans, Chevron, and these are other series which I expect to get plenty more of in the next few boxes. But that's quite a good start. Right then, so here's box number 3, and this is packed more with vintage stuff. So I think what we'll do again, there's some westerns in here. We'll just empty the box as best we can, and then we'll start going through and put them into series. But there's some really cool stuff in here, which shouldn't take too much sorting out, but we'll have a look. There's something a bit more what we're used to here. Certainly plumes of dust coming up. Some of these have been in storage, I guess, for literally decades, I would imagine. I don't think they've ever been on display for a very long, long time. There we are. It is always lovely to have new books to go through, don't you think? So these are quite straightforward because they're 4 squares. So now I've already got quite a decent 4 square collection. Well, I say decent, it's a few. It's maybe 100 or so books, but there's lots in here. So I'll be pleased with that. Now I would say these other ones are going to have to just go under the miscellaneous section for now. But there's quite a few westerns, so I'll probably pull the westerns separately. Yeah, these are all lots of westerns here. How to Draw Animals series. So I'd say those more count as miscellaneous than anything else. Panther. I don't think there's many panthers in here, so I don't think they want their own pile. There's a couple more 4 squares. More westerns. That's a 4 square. Another Hutchinson. Hutchinson and Guild. So Hutchinson's I've got around this side. Guild books I've got over there. And I'd almost be tempted to say these at the moment need to just go back into the miscellaneous pile. So this is 4 square. Miscellaneous. There's a little corgi there, but there's so few of these, I don't think it's worth it. A few Big Benn books, they might be worth a separate pile. And I think what we'll have to do with the ones that are listed as miscellaneous, we may just have to go back over them later on and see if there's any more series that I can pull out. They're all 4 squares. There's the Alfred Hitchcock series. You ever read those? They're brilliant. There is another panther there. But I don't think there's many panthers. Nice little selection of 4 square of westerns there. That's quite nice to see. There's a Guild book. That's a Jackdaw Library. That's another sort of vintage publisher. Put them over there. All right, that's Touchan. That's another sort of penguin imitator, and that's a Hutchinson Crime Book Society. 4 square. I need a second pile. Another Touchan. Hutchinson's. Oh, there's a Rogue Pan there that slipped in. A bit low grade one. Put that back with the pan boxes. So some more westerns here. So I wasn't expecting that. So I shall no doubt offer them to my friend Paul in America. Paul Bishop. He's the biggest western fan I know. Last little stack. So there's another Guild book there. That's interesting. So that's a copy of The Ship. C.S. Forster, who I really do like. Look, another big Benn book. So we had them separate, didn't we? And Corgi Western. Warlock Western there. It's quite nice. Oops. This is a Benn 9-penny library. So I know there's some 6-penny library books coming up. So we'll look out for those. Another Corgi, another big Benn book. What am I reading? It's a gold medal, a British gold medal. These are all westerns, aren't they? A Cougar Western, a Hank Jackson, 6 Gun Fugitive, and so he had a little western thing going on. Brilliant, so that's another box done. So let me pause there and make a little bit more room. Well, this was a really heavy box. I'm a bit out of breath. I'll be moving some other boxes around, but there seems to be all sorts of amazing books in this particular one. So I'm just going to get them all out onto the table so we can start sorting them out, because there's loads here. And these do seem a little bit more sorted into sort of semi-series, so that's quite a good sign. Because I think what we've seen so far is a lot of miscellaneous stuff. Right then. Wow. Some pretty epic stuff there by the look of it. Let's go through these then. Right, so this big wedge on top, these are Benn's 6-pennies and 9-pennies library. So these are from the 1920s, and they are numbered, and each one follows a particular subject. So I'm going to pop them. I've got a pile already made for them. So that's cool. And then looks like at the top here we've got more Foursquare books to go through. So I do have a fairly nice run of Foursquare, but there's going to be loads in here that I've not got at all. So I will have some doubles there, which is quite cool. Certainly going to be lots of doubles in the Pan collection, but that was to be expected because I've been collecting Pan a long time. So it's a nice cover. So they're all Foursquares. So these ones here then, these are the Hutchinson Crime Society, Crime Book Society again. So these are really actually quite nice, aren't they? There's the first one, the Gang Smasher, Soho Racket. They're pretty cool that, but they do all need a real clean. Look at the dust and dirt on the top there. So let's put these, that's the pile for Hutchinson Crime. There's another odd one there. What's this? General de Gaulle. A focus book. Well, I don't think there's many of those, so that can go on the miscellaneous pile here. Really is a Hutchinson special. I better go on the Hutchinson pile. That's Hutchinson, another Western here. The Hutchinson Wild West pocket. Oh, that's cool. And look at this. Got an old receipt in. So those are all actually Hutchinson books, but not crime, it's their other series, so I just pop them over there. Might need to play around with those because Hutchinson did like a Sixpenny library as well. These are just sort of miscellaneous. Darcy Glinto, No Mortgage on a Coffin. This reminds me of the Tony Hancock story, Lady Don't Fall Backwards by Darcy Sarto, but Lady Don't Turn Over. It was the episode The Missing Page, where Hancock was reading a book and someone had torn out the last page which had the person who did it on it. Brilliant. There's another cherry tree. Right, Foursquare. That's an earlier Foursquare, the John Long Foursquares. There's that lovely one, Harley Street Hypnotist. So quite a lot of Foursquares. These I would class as more miscellaneous for now. Now what are these? The Amateur's Professional Guide. Sketching, how to draw caricatures. The sort of how-to sort of art books. They do all seem to sort of fit together, don't they? So they ought to go together, I guess. And what are these then? Oh, these are sort of British pulp books. Horrible. Paul Reville, Domination. That's quite nice, isn't it? Roland Vane. Well, I've heard of his name before. And I think these are quite collected. These sort of British digest novels. Very, very pulpy paper. Hard to find in nice condition, so they'll be okay. A couple more in that sort of how to draw series again. So I'll put that over there. But these I would class as almost like 50s sort of pulpy books, so put them in their own pile. A Black Friar book, Death Calls at Scotland Yard. Oh, a couple of Albatross books. Well, I like the Albatross Library. I do collect those. I don't think I've got any of those. I might have that one, but nice to have a crime one, because the Albatross crime are quite scarce, to be honest. There's a nice juvenile delinquent, Too Late to Mend. But they're sort of miscellaneous again. So what we got is a Jackdaw, a couple of Jackdaw books, and they're right the way at the end, up there. Lawrence Durrell, Traveller's Companion, and a Searchlight. Here we are, look, some more Searchlight books. Don't know much about them, but got a little pile. We've got 5 of them now. That's, I think, a miscellaneous. And these are Guild books. So Guild were a wartime publisher. It was a guild of many British publishers who did books for the forces. I've got a few of these anyway. I've got maybe a dozen or so. I haven't got this many in one hit. Some great titles there. Ernest Hemingway's Fiesta. Let's look at the world of bullfighting. Quite controversial today, but they're all guild books. So where did our guild pile go? In the middle there. Look at that. Blimey. What a huge one of those. Right, what's this then? So these look like Sexton Blake little digest paperbacks. They did a few hundred of these, I believe. You look at the number 339. These are alright. These have got their fans, of course. I don't collect them myself. I don't think they go for a fortune or anything, just maybe a few pounds each, if that. So I'll put those sort of with the pulps. What's this? Warren's Arts and Crafts series. Another quite interesting series. I'll put them with those other books which are on sort of how to draw and stuff over there. Right. Book of the Film. Oh yeah, that was the World Distributor series, wasn't it? The Book of the Film. I'll put them with the pulps. Book on party games, that's more miscellaneous. More digests here. The Oracle Library, A Woman's World Library. And these might have their fans, another Sexton Blake, so they can go with the pulps. Chevron books, they were another sort of Pan and, well not Pan, but Penguin competitor, because it was back in that era. So we'll put those chevrons. I think we've got a pile, yeah, right at the top there. Excellent. So I believe we've only got a couple more boxes to go, but they're certainly coming along. It might look a mess, but they're actually quite well organised. Let's get that next box out. So this is the last box of non-Pan books, although I see straight away there's actually some Pan books on the top here, so we better pull them to one side. These are the very early Pan books, the before Pan did the familiar paperbacks. They did hardbacks and other paperbacks. This is quite a nice little run of those, so let's pop those Pan bits to one side. Ready for the Pan video. And then let's get this box unpacked. This is the last of it now. There's another load of stuff here. What a collection. And this is just his non-Pan collection. It's just crazy. Loads of stuff. It's all cool. There we are. Right, so as you can see straight away, there's another little run of those fact magazines. Where's our fact pile? Over there. And then there's a load of 4 squares, so let's sort of go in a little bit closer on those, I believe. So you can see what we're doing here. So these 4 squares here, some of them I've definitely already got. Other ones will be new to my collection, which is always cool. I love getting new books. So that's interesting, this one by Richard Chopping. He was the guy who designed the classic Jonathan Cape James Bond jackets in hardback, and he wrote another book which was published as Pan as The Fly. There's a chevron, so we've got to put that in a separate pile. Some more books on sort of party games again, and in fact here's some more again, sort of like tea games and things like that. I guess they've got their fans. Not sure what these are. There we are. So I think what we'll do, I can see the chevron pile anywhere. No, it's gone. Anyway, I'll find it in a minute. I think what we'll do, I'm going to have one more sort out so we can see sort of an overview of this series. I'm going to give it 5 minutes and have another go through, make sure everything's looking tidy and sorted, and then we'll have one last look over what was actually in all this lot. And I think it's probably worth having a separate look at the westerns as well. So let me get this lot sorted now. So this is a look through the westerns that were in that collection. Woodlock. So these are westerns that I don't collect myself. So if anyone sees anything here that they fancy, just DM me, make me an offer. Bearing in mind I am in the UK, but I'm happy to ship overseas. I send stuff to the States all the time. But if anyone sees anything in here that they do fancy, just hit me up, send me a DM, and we'll work out a deal. But these are just the westerns in the collection. Nice cougar ones here, so hopefully you guys know what you're looking at. And you find something of interest. They do vary in condition. Some of them are quite nice. Other ones have got a little bit of wear on. There we are. Okay, so these were the miscellaneous books that didn't really fit into any particular collection, but they were just sort of one-offs and things like that. And over here we've got 2 stacks of westerns. There was some Billy Bunters, some of the Sammy the Shunters, a couple of odd digits which I like, Cherry Tree books which were also cool, big stack of Guild books, and that Fact magazine, don't know much about that, but big stack of that. There must be about 30 of those. Over there we got the Hutchinson's Pocket Library, and behind that the Collins White Circles, of which, as I said, there was just on 100, so the ones in the box at the back, then 4 more stacks there. Then down here we've got 4 piles of 4 square books. As you can see, there's probably a good 80 4 square books there. And we got these books on games, some corgis, a run of Perry Rhodan. Then we've got at the back here, we've got that one, Who to Blame. That's the start of the sort of like digest magazines. A couple of piles of Hutchinson Crime series, Searchlight books, Benn's Sixpenny Library, Big Ben books, Book of the Film, Albatross, Jackdaw Library, the Touchan Library. Those are that run of books on like how to draw and things like that. And at the very back there, we got the run of Chevron books, and they hardly ever turn up, and there's about 8 of those. So all in all, quite a nice little run there. I mean, a lot of this I will not need myself in my own collection. I'm very, very tempted to keep hold of the Collins White Circles, because as I've been cleaning them, they are absolutely beautiful. Certainly I do collect 4 square, and I reckon I've probably got about half of those already, maybe even a few more, so I'm going to have some doubles there. But there you go, yeah, quite a nice little run of books there. Very, very pleased to get that. Next thing then is to dig out the pan books. So that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. I am going to pack these all away now and start on the pan books. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback content, and I shall look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye.